Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Diaspora Channel. I'm Kai Gabiam, and thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We are live with Deborah Jenkins. Salut tout le monde, bienvenue sur Diaspora Channel. J'espère que vous allez tous bien et que votre semaine se passe très bien aussi. Ce soir, j'ai Deborah Jenkins avec moi. C'est une professeure, une écrivaine et aussi une philanthrope. Donc, elle va nous parler de ses écrits et partager ses expériences avec nous ce soir. So, Deborah, you are so welcome here. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you're from.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy that we're connected through Instagram, and we have been for over a year, I believe, maybe almost 2 years. I'm from New York City in the United States. I'm originally from Montgomery, Alabama, which is also a state in the southern part, of course. And I live in New York. I'm married. I have 2 children. I co-pastor church with my husband. I am an adjunct professor at one of the local seminaries. And I own a business called the Sable Collective, through which I publish my books and I do business services for small Black-owned businesses, Black diaspora businesses.
That's awesome. Right now, I'm so happy that you are here with us tonight. And the reason why I say that, I was thinking about this interview for some time now. So it's so good that we are able to do it tonight. So first of all, I really want to thank you for what you are doing on your side over there in the States, because this channel is all about us celebrating and inspiring one another. So you are here with us, and that's a beautiful thing to for you to join us tonight. So I know you are also an author. Can you talk to us a little bit about your books, please?
Sure. I am an author of 3 books. Book is entitled, I hope you can see it, Leading Through Adversity, Lessons from the Prophets. This was my first book. I published it in 2004. My second book is called Preparing the Princess to be Queen, with 31 Success Aspirations for the Princess. I published this one in 2010. And my latest book is called Breathe, Sister Breathe. And I published this last March in 2019.
Right.
And I'm very proud of all 3 of them.
So
what would you like?
The one that really I would say, like, when I read the title, I'm like, oh, I love this, because I have girls. So when you say prepare a princess to a queen, I'm like, this would definitely be a great book to read, with my girls. So I just want to find out, I just want to know what motivated you to write that book.
Well, I have to say, my daughter, I have a son who's my oldest child, and I have a daughter. My daughter is now 16, and I wrote this when she was about 6 years old.
Right.
There's so much attention given to the male, especially Black boys in our community. And I'm one of those people that given so much attention to Black boys. My whole life's work has been around Black boys and men. And so when she was born, I said, I have to give her some instructions for navigating the life as a Black woman, because it's going to be unique to other women. The title is a play on words, because in order to have her become a queen, the queen, you and I, and those who have children, girls, we have to prepare them their preparation comes from our preparation of ourselves. So we have to get a grip on some of the things that as women, as queens, that we have to deal with. So it's a two-part book, actually. The first part of the book is lessons for us as the queens,
mm,
those lessons that we have to address in order to pass on lessons to our princesses so that they can one day be queens and
mm,
understand that they're meant to be at a certain level despite the things that they may have to go through in life. But if
mhm,
you and I have not first dealt with those things that we've had to go through,
mm.
how good are we going to do in preparing them? And so that's what the book goes through, different lessons of preparation.
Right. So another thing is I always have a little bit, a background check when it comes to my guests. So I find out
Mhm.
about a project, called the Delta Ujumaa Festival. So what is that project about?
So that project, it's a huge undertaking. It was actually supposed to begin this Thursday and go through Memorial Day here.
Okay.
But of course, with COVID-19,
Mm,
everything has somewhat come to a halt and been put on hold.
mm,
The object of the festival was to raise awareness of the plight of Black people living in a town called Glendora, Mississippi, in the southern United States. In a
mm,
lot of ways, the state of Mississippi is a microcosm of the racism that Black people have to endure in this country overall. Um, they are living in abject poverty,
mm.
and my thought was I acquired some land down there, and my
Right.
thought was, because African Americans in the United States,
Mm,
we have we are 1.3 trillion dollar consumers. And I believe that if I can bring together Black retailers, people who sell their wares, like your beautiful scarf, clothing, jewels, whatever we sell as Black people, if we
mm,
would buy from one another for that weekend, we would A, raise our own revenue,
mhm,
B, infuse revenue into that community,
mm,
and we would be able to raise enough revenue to begin a housing project, to begin building affordable housing. So I'm
mhm,
working closely with the local mayor in that town to make this happen. And it was designed to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the destruction or the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. I mean, across the pond, you all may know about this as well. It's just one of those movements where Blacks were upwardly mobile and they were becoming millionaires, and they kept to themselves and they built their own community. And that's what we are trying to do in Mississippi through the Delta Ujumaa Festival.
wow.
Collective works and collective economics is what we're all about.
That's very, very interesting. The fact that you mentioned how you guys are coming together and trying to buy from one another. It's just so, so needed right now because we have to do our best to keep our monies within our community. So I really, really like that.
Me
So,
too.
one thing I just want to find out if anyone right now in the stream want to help, how can they help this specific project you own?
Well, so right now, I spoke to the mayor actually last week to find out how everyone is doing.
Right.
Um, as you may know, New York City or New York State has been the epicenter for COVID-19. It is now moving across our country. So,
Mm,
Mississippi, they have a lot of cases comparatively. They're so totally focused on that. They're barely continuing to govern. And this project, we're going to do it next year instead of this year. And so, hopefully, through keeping in touch with you, as we've done for the last couple of years, a year and a half or so, I'll be able to reach back out to you when we begin gearing up in January to go down
Okay.
here and make it happen. Definitely.
That's awesome because wherever we are, as I believe our global Black family have to, we have to come together. So
Absolutely.
just like you said, let me know on time. So I'll probably have you back on again. So you share with us what we can do to support is a very noble cause. So we need to really come together and support you with that.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
guys, everyone in the stream, if you want to call in when Deborah finish, I'm gonna drop the link now. So feel free to to call in uh, when we are almost close to the finishing line. And any comments, feel free to leave that in the chat as well. And don't forget to thumbs up the stream and share as well if you can. So, Deborah, I know you are a mom. First of all, you are a wife, a mom,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
you are very, very active, in your community over there. So, my question for you is, how do you manage to balance all that, like, work and family?
Yes. Well, I mean, I feel incredibly blessed. I I've been blessed because I've been able to do all that I do around my children's school schedule. My son, he's fully grown, but my daughter, she's in high school. So everything that I do, even my
Mm,
business, you'll
mm,
see if you see me post in social media, it is between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. because at that time I have to pick her up from school. So I really work all of my business around
mm,
my family schedule. My husband's outside of the house working. I work from home or maybe sometimes from my church office, but I'm
right,
able to create my own hours.
mm,
And then I schedule a lot of the things. Now, in terms of the things that I do within the community, sometimes I definitely have to show up, but
mhm,
I balance it by pulling away. I give myself a Sabbath rest, as the Bible says. Sunday, Saturday is the
mm,
Sabbath that I observe. I do absolutely no business. I sell nothing on the Sabbath. I focus only on the Lord and rejuvenating. So I sort of shut down Friday nights, and I'm just strict about this. Friday nights I shut down all day Saturday so that I
mm.
can be rejuvenated. And I think that's so important as women.
Yes. Mhm.
So busy all the time. Even if we don't have our own business, we are finding things to occupy our time. And we
Yeah.
have to take time out for ourselves. We
Mm.
have to, or we will burn out. So you have to have a recognition that you need your own time. And I take it. I didn't always do that though. I haven't always done that. And it's led to physical sickness. Now that I've gotten it, I feel so empowered. I won't go back.
So, I know you have so many things going on at the same time, but what do you do? Like, apart from being busy with, with family, work, what do you do for fun?
I write. I write and I read. Those things make me happy. And believe it or not, I
Mm.
like murder shows. I watch a
Oh,
lot of investigation discovery, and I think
okay.
it's the weirdest thing. But I like murder shows. I like to think that I'm the at-home detective helping them solve their crimes. So that's a hobby of mine. I just sort of OD on investigation discovery channel.
Okay. That's interesting coming from you.
Yeah, everybody finds it strange because I'm in the healing and the soul business, but I really gravitate towards those murder shows. I don't know. I don't know where I got it from.
Right. And you are a Christian like
Yeah.
myself. So my
Yeah.
question, for you is like, is during your single season, like when you're preparing for marriage, how
Mhm.
because it's not easy for singles, especially like when you are a Christian, trusting God for the right person. And, during that season, so many things can, happen to one person when it comes to your mind.
Right.
So how did you navigate through that season before getting married?
It's interesting because my daughter, she's 16 and she hasn't read this book yet. But
Okay. Mm.
in the book, I'm very candid. If you knew me well, you'd be like, well, Deborah, do you ever stop talking about the things you've gone through? I feel like if
Mm.
I hide some of my weak points,
Mm.
I won't give you an opportunity to be better than me, so that you can avoid those same things. So I have a chapter in here called the love chapter. It's the chapter that everybody seems to love. I
Okay.
had an experience before I
Mm.
met my husband. It was a very bad experience. The guy was just a total jerk. I mean, he was such a total jerk.
Oh.
I said to God, I said, God, shut me down. I don't want to see a man. It's gonna just be you and me, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember it so well because I was just having a good time reconnecting closer with God. And all of a
Mm.
sudden, my husband walks into my life. And I was not looking to go out on a date. I wasn't looking to develop any new friendships because I
Mm.
was devoting my time to God. And what I found is while I was in that bad relationship because I was not devoting my time to God. I was
Right.
not asking God for proper guidance. I was not
Mm.
listening to the warnings that He was trying to give me through the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
I wanted what Deborah wanted, and that was all there was to it. And it led to heartache. And so it just made me shut down and say, God, I rededicate myself to you, to your
Mm-hmm.
holy word.
Mm.
Cleanse me of all
Mm.
unrighteousness. So I'm having fun with just me and the Lord doing nothing.
Wow.
And I promise you, it was only like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and I meet my
Mm.
husband. And I was hesitant to become involved with him because I knew what I'd said to God. But I actually had to listen to God and realize that God sent him at the
Mm-hmm.
time that God sent him.
Mm.
And we've
Mm.
been married 24 years. We just celebrated our 24th wedding anniversary, and
Wow.
we're blessed with these two wonderful young people. So I'm glad I listened to the Lord. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I
That's
listened
the,
to
that's
the
the
Lord.
best thing.
Yeah, but it's
So
difficult.
that's exactly what I'm about to say. It's not easy, but if you actually listen to him, be patient, and keep trusting him, and surround yourself with the right people at the right time,
Hmm.
the right person will show up. That's
Yes,
that's what I
absolutely.
believe.
Yeah,
And you've been
I
married for how long? He said now.
24 years.
Wow.
24. Yeah, it's a long time, and we're still there.
So
No regret.
well, 24 years, that's like a long time. So what
It's
advice can you give to the married people out there?
um what advice can I give to the married people? Well, I
Mm.
did. We on our anniversary, or no, on around Valentine's Day, we went somewhere where we usually go for our anniversary.
Mm.
And there was a couple with their child sitting next to us, and they've been married. I think she said 8 years, and their child was about
Okay.
7 or 6 years old. And we told them, we'd be celebrating 24 years, and she asked, "Well, what did you do? What do you do? That's a long time." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "You know what? We're still together because we're committed to the marriage."
Mm.
Um, and I think you have to differentiate between always being happy, always being romantic. It just is not like that. It's just not like that. But you have to be committed to what you said you would do. And because of that, and it's not because of the children. My son will be 21 and my daughter's 16. So it's not for
Mm.
them, it's for us. We
Mm.
remain together because we're committed to each other. And
Wow.
that goes beyond the romantic fairy tales that we are raised to desire. It
Mm.
really lands its feet on, am I committed to this person as I was the day I said I do? and we are.
Mm.
And it's going to be hard,
Wow.
but you have to have the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Curtis. Thank you.
That's great. And it's very encouraging, hearing it from someone else. Because of what is happening right now in our world, marriages will last maybe a year, 5 years, and all that. So it's good, to know that once God is involved, things can be sweet. There
Yes.
will be challenges time, I'm sure, but
Oh, yeah.
both of you, because you put God first,
That's it.
he'll let you,
That's it.
he'll tell you what to do, and you have to follow his command, isn't it?
It is. I believe when you're committed, that
Mm,
commitment goes out of the same commitment that you should have to God, right? God desires our obedience over our
mm,
sacrifices. So
mm,
we can never be so involved with how we feel that we
mm,
forget what we have promised to both God and the person that we're married to. So
mhm,
yes, it's hard. Yes. Um, Sometimes you just don't want to be around each other. But when you do come back
mm,
together, you realize that you're together because God has ordained it. So I think we have this tendency to look at how the world does things. They
mhm,
like, like a dress. I haven't had a dress on in forever, but I'm glad I can still fit into it. The fact that I can still fit into it means that it gets to remain in my closet a little longer, right? Marriage
mhm.
is not like that.
Whoa.
Sometimes we grow out of the fit with one another,
Mm,
but you hang on to it. You hang on to the marriage
mm,
because if you are looking to God, you
mhm.
believe that He will make the fit be as it should have been always and what He always intended. So that's why it's commitment over anything else. You must be committed to that other person. Thank you, Jalicia.
That's beautiful. We have to learn from people like yourself, and we have my Gisela also, in the chat. I'm sure later on she can call in, my Gisela, if you want to, or just leave your comment in the comment section. But we are here tonight to learn. I'm very, very passionate about how us, our global Black family, we can come together and do things. But at the same time, we have to think about marriages, because when
Yeah,
the children or a child have the two parents in the house, everything is on another level most of
everything.
the time, and
Yeah.
especially if God is involved in that, in that marriage, is completely different. So that's why I'm so happy that you're able to join us tonight and share your experiences with us. You are a professor, so I just want to know what you teach.
I teach theology and I teach theology and exegesis and pastoral counseling and care. Pastoral counseling and care is a short course, but it is so necessary. If you think about what people are experiencing now with COVID-19, the
Mm-hmm.
church is never going to be the same. The church members are never going to be the same because we're all witnessing a distance in practicing our faith, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also witnessing so many people who we love pass away, and we're not able to properly bury them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
taking a psychological toll on the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's a course that needs to be expanded. But at the same time, I think if we understand the Bible and the perspective from which it was written,
Mm-hmm.
we will gain a better understanding. And that's why I love teaching, to be able to impact the lives of seminarians in any small way.
Right.
Absolutely. God's glory. I agree. God's glory. I'm looking at one of the comments from one of your viewers.
Yeah, God's Glory TV. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, at best, marry I think someone who loves God first before anything else. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
That's very, very
Don't
important.
compromise on that. Do not compromise, especially women,
Mm-hmm,
because women, we feel like, oh, well, because I love the Lord, he can
mm-hmm,
grow to love the Lord. No. The Bible, first of all, says he's supposed to find us. That's one. We're not supposed to
mm-hmm,
be out searching. This is not a shopping expedition. But if he doesn't present as one who loves the Lord, that marriage will not last 24 years. It's just not going to last, because God has to
mm-hmm,
be first. But the man has to love the Lord. And you
mm-hmm,
and I cannot compromise on that, women. We have to want to give our time and attention to a man who first loves the Lord.
mm,
I don't think I can stress that, because I don't think my marriage would have lasted or would be lasting this long if my
mm,
husband didn't love the Lord. I'm just going to be honest. It's just the
mm-hmm.
truth.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I agree. I agree with
Mhm.
that. Because sometimes it's so easy for people out there, or just to claim that, oh, they are a Christian, for example. But you have to just take a little bit of time to assess that person, to find out, no, this person is just a joke. Like he
Right.
or she claimed to be a Christian, but what they want to do in a relationship will tell you straight away that,
Right.
this
Right.
is not gonna it's not gonna
Hmm.
work.
Right. Right. And not be afraid of being alone until God sends that person.
Uh-huh.
It's good to be alone, because while you're alone, you're with the Lord, and your mind is not going in so many different directions. So be
Mm-hmm.
patient. Be patient. Hmm.
That's very important. Be patient and surround yourself with the right people, like-minded people that can encourage you and keep reminding you the importance of waiting upon the Lord.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
Sheila. Yeah, Deborah, if you can go, quickly, for the people that just joined the stream not long ago, I want you to show them your book and talk a little bit about the three of them.
Okay. Sure. Absolutely. So, I'm trying to center it. Leading through adversity, lessons from the prophet. Again, it's my first book.
Mm,
I I went through the Bible, and I
mm,
looked at some of the prophets that have always impacted my life in a positive way. And
mm,
much of the book centers around the prophet Daniel, but it
mm,
was lessons in leadership, because I have been an associate minister at my church for a while,
mm.
and I just completed seminary.
Right.
And one of the most impactful classes that I took was called church administration. And when you look at the way a church is organized so that it can sustain itself and the people of God, it made me realize that we're called to be leaders. And so I needed to know how to do that effectively. So I found useful lessons in looking at different prophets in the Bible. And so that's what that book is about. I still get I'm surprised that I get a lot of requests for it, because I really don't promote it or any of my books too much. But people still want this book, and I'm proud of it, because it was my first foray into writing professionally. Second book is the one that I mentioned before, Preparing the Princess to be Queen. I gave my cover artist, Mr. Bobby Ivory, a picture of my daughter, and he came up with this. Now, she doesn't look a whole lot like this, but it just blew me away. She's such a beautiful little girl, young lady. You can tell she's like between childhood and becoming a queen, and that's what he understood. And on the back of this book, I talk about all of the things that the princess goes through. It
Right.
says the princess has been violated, her innocence stolen. The princess has been denied her royal heritage. The princess has not been loved. She searches for love in all the wrong places. The princess is beautiful, but has never been told. The princess is powerful, but lives beneath her promise. The
Mm,
princess is you. The princess is me. And the princess is in need of truth. Will you begin your healing so that she can embrace her royal heritage? And that's so important. I had to go through healing in a lot of areas for myself so that
mm,
I would be able to pass on healthy lessons to my daughter. I have to say, and many people would rival my statement when I say I have the best mother on planet Earth. But there are some things that I didn't do like her, and then there are things that I did do like her. Because sometimes we teach our children or our daughters
mm,
from our limited experience. But I allowed the Lord to sort of open me up so that I could be the very best that I could be for her. And
mm,
that's why I'm
mm.
also proud of this book. I'm also proud of this book, and you'll hear me say that about all of my books. I'm also proud of my current book, Breathe, Sister, Breathe.
That
And
title, man, like we need to
girl,
hear that often. Can you repeat that, please? For all the ladies in the chat,
yeah,
please repeat that.
breathe, breathe, sister, breathe. I tell you, you asked me earlier in the interview, how do I keep it all going? How do I balance it
Mm-hmm,
all?
mm-hmm,
This, the contents of this book, it found me at a time when I was so disenchanted with humanity, if that makes
mm-hmm,
sense. If you had an opportunity to interview maybe 20 to 30 people who know me well,
mm,
one thing that they would tell you is that she's honest. Another thing they would tell you is that she's not two-faced. And the
mm,
third thing that they might tell you is that she will do her very best to help you at
mm,
any given time.
mm,
In the year 2018, I found betrayal on so many levels to the point where I own an after school and I own a summer camp.
okay.
Um, and we were having summer camp,
Mm,
and something terribly wrong happened on a day that I was not even there.
oh,
And it turned out to be a very big issue, one that got the police involved. And because it's my
mm-hmm,
program, I was interrogated for like 2 hours or an hour and a half with the
mm,
New York Police Department as if I had harmed a child. That thing hurt me so badly. It just really took me to a place that made me realize that I have to stop assuming that everybody is for me, because I
mm,
would never put you in a position where you are trying to defend your reputation or your character. But I
mm,
can only sit here and tell you, thanks be to God, all praises to the Most High God, because He was able to bring me through this. There were no charges filed against me. My
mm,
program remained intact. The reputation of my program did not suffer, but it's only because I work as unto God, like the word tells us to. I commit everything
mm,
back to Him. But it showed me who was in my corner and who was not. And so I could not get over it. I tried to keep going on, but God said, you got to write about it. You got to tell
mm,
others what they need to do in
mm,
order to maintain and not lose their whole mind. And I
yeah.
really can tell you, I felt very close to losing my mind, but I thank
Mm,
God so much for keeping me. I thank God so much for keeping me, because in this world, I have built up a lot of positive character traits that others notice. And it has served my family well, my children well, and my church well, because people know that they can depend on me. And this situation put me in a position where that was being challenged. But I give God all the praise and I give Him all the glory
mm,
for bringing me through this and being able to share with other women how there comes a time you have to let go of some people and
yeah.
some things in
Mm-hmm,
order to continue to breathe. And you and I are clearly breathing, but I mean sustained, peaceful breath that says, I'm looking back to God. I know He's got my back. And
mm-hmm,
whatever comes this time, it won't break me, it won't shatter me. I
mm-hmm,
realize that it is a part of what I have to go through. And that's what this book was very therapeutic for me. And it's been a blessing. I've done very well. I sell all of my books myself because, again, when we think about collective economics and cooperative economics or cooperative works, we have to keep the money circulating in our community. I had this book on Amazon, but I took it down because they had put a crazy price on it. Also, I don't want to give them 30% of
Right.
my these are like labors of love. And so I feel like my children, this should be 100% their legacy. So that means I have to work harder. I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I, I use a private printing company and I promote it myself, and I've
Mm.
done very well. I have no complaints. If I spent more time promoting it, I would definitely do much better, of course. But I like having the control over where the money goes, and so those are my books, and I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of them.
That's awesome. And the father, I wanted to ask you to share some testimony with us. So
Mhm.
I think you kind of highlight, talk a little bit right there. That's a testimony when
Yeah.
you share what happened with the police and all that. That's a testimony right there. But if there is any
Absolutely.
other testimony you love to share with us tonight, go
Mhm.
ahead and share.
Well, yes. Well, let me tell you, it's weird. I call myself weird, and only
Why?
because I I call myself weird because there are very few things I do
Mm,
without consulting God. And I know that He has given us a lot of leverage for things that we can do without
mm,
just saying, well, God, should I? Because it's all in His word, right? It's all in His word.
mhm,
But I keep His word so close to my heart that I'm not just running off and doing things without finding out if it's something that He wants me to do. So, for
mhm.
instance, in this book, I talked about the Mississippi Project or the Delta Ujumaa Festival.
Yeah, just drop the link in the chat right now for the people that came a little bit late. You can click on that link and see what Deborah is doing in Mississippi. I believe yeah, with other people just to support the
Yes, yes,
community over there. Yeah, Deborah,
yes.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, fine. I just put my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I put everything. I try to do
Right.
that on my business page so that
Mm,
you'll be up to date with, kept up to breast of what we're doing. So I talked about it.
mm,
We were doing a pilot beginning this Thursday, the 22nd, and going through the 26th, through the 25th. But of course, COVID happened to everybody.
yeah.
I was stressing out. So January and February, I found myself stressing out because I was trying to get a public figure who's also from Mississippi. I wanted to give back to Mississippi. And I was
Mm,
back and forth in negotiations with his people to get
mm.
him to be there. He was the last piece of the puzzle. And
Oh,
he said yes. He said
mm,
yes. And I was weeks from sending him the deposit. And then COVID happened. And I was stressing out. And you know how we don't like to use words like worry? Why don't we like to use words like worry? Because Jesus tells us we should not worry, right? So if I say I worry, then I'm not keeping the word. I'm not doing what Jesus said do. So we'll
mm,
say like words like, I'm concerned, or I'm thinking a lot about that. I was worried. I was
mhm,
stressing out and I was worried. And my son said, listen, mom, if it's meant to be, and I believe it's meant to be,
mm.
God will work everything out.
Yes.
And I said, well, look, I'm about to invest this money with this guy. So I hope God is still down with this. And so COVID happened. COVID happened,
Mm,
and I didn't invest the money because there was no more public experiences. But God, I believe, said, slow
mm.
it down, do it the year I initially told you to do, which was 2021,
Okay.
because He wants us to trust Him. And I said, oh my goodness, no, we got to give it a trial run. We got to make sure. But
Mm,
I never heard God change the plan. You know how He told Habakkuk, write the vision and make it plain? Well, I wrote the vision. The vision was
mm,
for 2021, but I had
mm,
one person say something to me that made me think, oh, this won't work if we don't do a trial run. And so I'm saying to anyone who's listening and believes the word of God, if God said, do it one way, don't try to change it. And I
mm,
believe that God loves me so much, He did not want me to lose all of that money. But what He wanted me to do is go back to the blueprint He had me write that said
mm,
2021 and stick to that plan. And that's where I am right now. I'm just believing Him. I don't have to be right all the time. But when I'm wrong, I don't mind repenting before God and telling
mhm,
everyone who's willing to hear, I'm
mm,
sorry, I made a mistake and I want to be
mhm,
better. Because that's what I'm trying to do. Just be who He wants me to be. And that means being better every day, even when I get it wrong. And I get it
mhm.
wrong often, you know.
That's a good mindset.
Yeah.
Any parenting tips for us, parents out there?
Well, sure. So I think whether you're a Christian and Islamic or otherwise,
Hmm,
I think for Black people, because the Bible has been distorted for us, I think it's very, very important that we listen, that we read and listen to other Blacks and not just our holy book. I'm going to say
hmm,
that again. We need to listen to other Blacks, and I'm going to tell you why. Whether they walk in the faith that we profess or not,
hmm,
their experiences sometimes mirror our own, but their experiences are valuable or should be valuable to us. That
mhm,
as Black people, we should seek to find commonality with other Blacks. So we need to read other books. So I said that to
yeah.
say, with my son, there's this wonderful psychologist. His name is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. Some of you may know him. I'm trying to
If
write
you
it in
can
there.
put, yeah, if you can put in the chat, please.
Jufu. Um, his books,
Hmm,
his books helped me so much raising my son. And Dr. Amos Wilson. Dr. Amos Wilson, you can find a lot of his teachings on YouTube. These Looking at these two Black men and understanding that it wasn't as critical, the danger to Black men when I was raising my son as it is now. My son was born in 99, so he'll be 21. I needed these doctors, I needed these professionals to help shape my parenting skills so
hmm,
that my son would be prepared. Another doctor, Dr. Ray Winbush. He actually teaches at one of the universities, Morgan State University
hmm,
here in it's an HBCU in Maryland. He has written a book called The Warrior,
hmm,
The Warrior Method, and it's an excellent book. And if you take teachings like theirs and
hmm,
you balance it with the Word of God, you'll find that
hmm,
they're not off. You'll find that they're not off, and it will help you in raising your children. So my son, thanks be to God, he got
hmm,
through high school. He did really well. He got many scholarships. He's in college now. He's a junior in college. No drugs, no alcohol, no
hmm.
children. And I
Wow.
thank God for that every day because he has friends. I know his peers and other
Hmm,
young men who have had those stories to tell who've been set back. But I thank God for him listening to me
hmm,
and just being God's son. My daughter,
hmm,
I find that raising daughters very different than raising a son, and I've tried to allow her that space to be different than my son. I'm the product of four. We're My parents have four daughters, so in a way, that their experience was more like yours because you're raising daughters. But I find that raising her is even different than the way my parents raised me, and I try to let her be the individual that I believe God has created her to be, without thinking she's a little me. Now we favor, we have, but she is her own person, and I
Person, yeah.
try to applaud her for being
Mm,
who she is. And I try to reinforce those good things. They're both very smart children. She's a very smart young woman, teenage girl, and I'm just, they love the Lord. I don't force
great.
them to stay in the Word. They read the Word every day, so I don't. They're not out in the street. I'm not worried about their safety like that. We travel together. That's it. My
Mm,
children growing up,
mm,
they always with me. They were always with me. I didn't my mother, both grandparents live in the same town as us, but I
mm,
did not put my children off on other people. They were being raised by me. They were always with me.
mm,
And in the
mm,
big city that we live in a really, really large
mm,
community, like a city within a city.
mhm,
The children who did well, I noticed this as a young mother, the
mm,
children who did well, who grew up, stayed out of trouble, went on to have their families and have careers, are the
mm,
ones who were always seen with their parents. I learned that while I was carrying my son. So I adopted that for myself. My children go everywhere I go if they're not in school or if they're not in church or some other kind of setting. They go with me. And as a result, we've been blessed. We've avoided some of the pitfalls that befall other families. Keep your children
mm.
with you. You decided to have them, so now you have to give them the time. And I've never ever regretted
I
any time
agree
I've
with
had
that.
my children. Never regret it.
I agree with that 100%. You are the one that decide for them to be here. So you have to, as a parent, we have to have time for them. That's very, very important because most of the time is not only what we can give them, but it's the attention and the time we spend properly with them. So you're right there. I just want to add Frank, if you can come back, Frank Kitchen, if you can come back. I saw you earlier in the chat room. So you say raising boys is so different from the girl child. So if you can come on board and explain that, that would be great. So I'm going to put the link again in the chat so you can explain that to us.
I like to hear too. I mean, I agree with him. Because there were some things that I could not teach my son that my husband had to
Mm.
teach him. And so I definitely agree on that basis. Is he coming? Because I like to hear.
I'll put the link in here. I hope he or she is still in the chat, so he can call right in. Yeah, and your project, the Delta project, I will be putting the link back again in the chat if anyone wants to help
Oh,
keep
good.
eye on that and support. No matter how small, I'm sure it's gonna make a difference.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Frank, can you
Hello.
hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
How are you? How are you,
Yeah, I'm
doctor?
good.
Hi. Yeah, I've been listening, and I really like everything you've said.
Mm,
You don't need to write on the face that you're a Christian.
mhm,
Your speech, your word
mhm,
goes a long way, and every word you've said right here, anybody that hears you will know that this person has a contact with God,
mm,
and I think that's a space every woman should be in.
mm,
If you want to make it, no matter how beautiful you are, there's a
mm,
space you get to in your life. When you get to that
mhm,
space, that is where depression comes in. When you
mhm,
get to that space, you're gonna look left, you're gonna look right,
mm,
no other option, and then the
mm.
enemy becomes your friend and start throwing things in your head. So I think the best thing in life is to get closer to God. And there was
Mm,
a word you said, getting married to a good man, a God-fearing man,
mhm,
there's nothing like it, because God is going to show them your weaknesses and how to go through them.
mm.
And when you see their weaknesses, God is going to show you how to go with their weaknesses. You cannot solve it. You cannot solve it alone. I've been married. To God be the glory, to the best man in the whole world. I don't care
Wow.
about you. I've got the best man in the whole world, and to God be
Oh,
the glory.
beautiful.
And we've been married for 10 whole years. And
Mm,
for the first 3 years, it was not easy because like she said, I had to like cut off everyone, no
mm,
dating for close
mm,
to 3-4 years. I just wanted to clear my head, a new space and all that. And it was
mm,
in the dream I saw my wedding invitation card be given to me. And I
mm,
woke up, I was like, what? I'm not even dating anybody. I'm holding a wedding invitation card of mine. and
mm.
and that was where God began his good works. And this man came all the way from Germany to
Wow.
Africa, and he
Mm,
said, he met the pastor. He said, I want to get married. God said my wife is here in my
mm,
country. And they brought in about 8 to 9 women
mm,
with their pictures and all.
mm,
But among all of them, I was not interested because I was not even thinking about marriage. All I was thinking about was my NGO going
mm,
to preach. Just go and speak the word of God to people, go into orphanages and go into primary schools. And here was
mm.
a man saying, marriage. I had to go on a fast because I don't want to marry someone else's husband. Yeah, and so many ladies today don't do that. We don't pray anymore to say, God, is this for you? Because the
Mhm.
man was too fine. The man was just too fine to become my husband. I had to pray. I was like,
Yeah.
Lord, is this you? And
Mhm.
I think with the other ladies, they were like, oh yeah, oh, he's gonna be my man. And they were planning from what I heard. But
Right.
I was the only person who said, go, I'm
Mm.
gonna ask God if you are my husband. If God
Mhm.
said you are my husband, okay. And I went into prayer. I had to pray 6 to 6 fasting.
Mm.
And it was on the last day of the 3 days fasting I gave to myself, exactly 6 p.m., when I wanted to break my fast. That was where God showed up and said, did you not say, if I ever want you to get married, the man should just come and say, marriage, I don't want to date? And that was what I told
Mhm.
God. I don't want
Right.
to date. And that is how he delivered it to me. So I just pity the world today. If you want to play Christianity, you don't want to
Mhm.
get closer to God, you're going to
Mm.
be cheating yourself. You cheat
Mhm.
yourself. So that's just what I have to contribute. Concerning the one of kids, I have 2 boys and a girl.
Okay.
Teens, they're not old, 8 to 3 years, and my daughter is 6 years, and I can see the difference between herself and her brothers. It's not easy because the smallest thing like this, they could start looking outside for
Mm.
love and comfort. If you don't get it quick, you're gonna miss it. Yeah,
Mm.
and it's from the beginning. You just need to start from the beginning, from when they were born, because the slightest thing they're gonna start looking outside. So that's what I have to say.
Oh,
Wow, thank you very much for putting me in.
thank you, Franca.
Yeah,
Wow. I'll see you in the chat.
yeah.
Right, Deborah. What is your last word for us tonight? Sorry.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I,
Sorry.
I while Franca was speaking, and I really appreciate her sharing. I did look through the comments, and a brother, I believe, put in there that we need to throw religion out the window. Here's my take on that.
Mm.
Religion has separated us and kept us
Mm.
apart.
Mm.
What I'm not willing to do is
Mhm.
throw black brothers or sisters away. And that
Mhm.
would include those of us who are religious people.
Mhm.
I honestly
I'm one of them
don't.
too.
No, I don't. I don't believe in a white Jesus, life of King
Exactly.
Vlad.
That's the what
No, no,
our
no.
Bible tells us. So there is
Right,
no
right.
white
That
white
was a
Jesus.
massive lie that was our people. So, but just if I can just keep it general. So, no, sir, no. There's no white Jesus in my belief at all.
That's it.
But there's this scene, and I know most of us have seen Black Panther the movie by now. When the brother who his tribe, they lived up in the mountain, and I always call him Winston because I can't remember his name from the movie. But remember when T'Challa wanted him to come together with them, and he said, "No, we can't do that," and they went back up to the mountains. But when the Black Panther and all of them were under attack, what did the brother do? He came down from the mountains to help his brother. And so I want, that's the message I want to push. It's a unity message that we must
Yes,
have. I'm going to
same here.
respect you in your
Mm-hmm.
non-religious
Mm-hmm.
beliefs. I really do. I respect my Kemetic brothers and sisters. I respect everybody Black. I
Mm-hmm.
do think that it has been the trick of the devil, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just an expression. But I think that has been white supremacy's trick to keep us from uniting, because white supremacy knows that if Black people ever came together, their days would be numbered because we would be fighting together rather than against each other. I think
Mm-hmm.
our Black skin is all we need to come
That's
together.
all. That's all.
We can do all the other stuff later. But let us
Mm-hmm.
unite so that they won't keep killing us. They won't keep lynching us in 2020. We can deal with faith beliefs on the side, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's time out for us allowing them to keep us separated. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's really what I promote everywhere without apology. I am unapologetically Black, and that means that I respect you as a non-believer, and
Mm-hmm.
I want the same, at least so that we can work together. You don't have
Yes.
to accept what I believe, but if we can just work together so that
Mm-hmm.
we can be better and make sure our children and their children are better, man, what power would we have? What power would we have? It's in us already. It's already in us. We just have to use it in a unifying way. And that's really what I really wanted to end on. We can do this. I don't believe in integration. It was a failed experiment. It was a
Mm-hmm.
failed experiment. And a lot of Black people will be like, well, what is she talking about? I think we do better when we're together. I really do. And we have to relearn how to live together and work together to strengthen
Mm-hmm.
our community. And that's, really how I feel.
Yeah, Deborah, I don't think I have anything else to add because that's exactly, that's my mindset. The state we are in now, as like the global Black family, is a state of emergency. So I don't have time to be checking. It's like when you have someone have a car accident and you rush that person to the hospital. The doctor won't be there or saying, "Oh, are you this? Are you that? Are you Muslim or whatever?" before attending to you. And for
Right.
everyone in the chat right now, that would be thinking, "Oh, is she a Christian?" Yes, I am a Christian, 1,000%, and that does not stop me to support my brothers and sisters out there. Because what is important right now is how we can come together and bring the change needed within our community. So I thank all of you for joining tonight. I hope you guys learn one or two things. And for my family, I would say voilà, Deborah, elle nous a expliqué tout. C'est comme j'avais mentionné, c'est une écrivaine, donc elle nous a parlé de ses écrits. Elle nous a aussi encouragé comment on doit s'entraider en tant que Noirs. Et puis, elle a aussi donné certains conseils aux célibataires et puis aux gens qui sont mariés parce que elle s'est mariée il y a 24 ans maintenant. Donc, elle a beaucoup de choses que nous aussi, ou les gens qui sont déjà mariés, peuvent apprendre à propos de ce qu'elle a partagé. Donc, j'espère que vous avez aimé ce qu'elle a partagé avec nous ce soir et à très bientôt. Très bonne nuit à tous. So, guys, this gonna be the end of the. I think we have one comment. Let me put that on, on the screen quick. is actually two, right? Some could say, what is your opinion on that? Why Jesus, who came to Kenya a couple of months ago and was being worshipped by the Kenyans, that's completely, totally wrong. If people learn to read the word, there are certain things they're not going even to entertain. So that would be my answer for that right there, Sanku. But yeah, Deborah, go ahead if you have something to add to that. So we move to the next question, please.
Yes, I agree with what you just said, Kaya. Kai, we we have had such a number done on us. I think I saw a couple of those pictures. It's sad, but I won't throw
Really?
our away. I won't throw them away. We have to get to them and teach them the real truth about the
Mm-hmm.
word. The word was
Mm-hmm.
for us. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about the white person that they
Mm.
came up with. Never was. Never was.
Thank you.
So
Let me add Kurt. Yeah, Curtis.
God has a right of me. Amen. I agree, Curtis. Curtis, you're right.
Curtis, well said. Well said. Right. Well, okay. Let me say some good, yeah. So,
Mhm.
in
She's
government.
right.
So,
So,
yeah, I think
mhm.
population, people should read the Bible. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
Nothing more to add. Yeah. Once you are in your word, you know that there is no white Jesus to start with. Once you are in your word, you know that you don't go and bow down to anyone else except the one that created you. So people out there, read your Bible. On that note, guys, I thank you all for joining tonight. If you like this stream, please go ahead and share, and I'll see you all very soon. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Deborah, for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Deborah, you hold on. Hold on.